Hello, I'm Dr. Joel Domingo, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Prospectus tool, your key to alignment. Now, I use that word alignment carefully because you'll get to know that word throughout your dissertation, especially in the first stage of the dissertation, which is the prospectus. And I want to use an analogy of a plane. If a plane started on a course toward a destination, and let's say that plane starts veering off course by 1 or just say 2 degrees. Well, in the short run, it may not seem like it, but as that plane continues to journey on for hours and hundreds of miles, by the end of that plane will have veered off course severely. That's a pretty simple way of looking at alignment, and that's why I bring it up now. It is the most important part of the start of the dissertation is alignment. So with that analogy, let me give you a quick review. You've seen this video before, or this slide before, that the basic dissertation is 5 chapters. Your introduction, literature review, methodology, results or findings, and then your discussion. And you're also familiar with the RESR 694 sequence of courses, where there are essentially 3 major milestones that need to be crossed to finish the dissertation: the prospectus, the proposal, and the full dissertation. Our focus is on that first part, the prospectus. Your first quarter starting the dissertation, RESR 694A, and that's your first milestone. It's the prospectus. And how we go about fulfilling this milestone is that you will submit your prospectus tool to your chair, and that will then be reviewed by your chair and the lead methodologist, institutional reviewer, to see if you have a good prospectus. What they're looking for is, again, that word alignment. Now, there's things that they're looking for also, is that the prospectus is that tool that presents your problem statement. It's supported by a high-level description of literature and methods. Your topics are linked to leadership or business, and again, it's going to be approved by those individuals. Let me get specifically into the prospectus tool itself, because you will see this tool on the dissertation shell, student shell, when you get that when you start your dissertation. So again, all these resources are before you. You can stop this video at any time if you want to look at it, but again, you'll see this in the dissertation student shell, and it's also part of the dissertation handbook. So you'll notice that the prospectus tool is essentially an outline. Again, the prospectus is an outline of your dissertation. It contains the key components of your dissertation broken down into 15 areas, starting with the topic. Now you'll notice that there are word lengths on each component that you need to write about. The topic, you want to state your general dissertation topic. What is going to be the focus of your research? You go into a literature review. Again, a brief literature review of the relevant literature. We'll talk about that in future residencies, but we give you 1,000 words to complete that component. You're going to write the key theories. What key theories help inform your study, whether it's leadership or business? What about the problem statement? And this is an important focus of this first part. What is the actual research problem that you want to study? And then you're going to express it in a general problem and specific problem. Finally, the purpose statement. All right, those are the first 5 components of the prospectus tool. And what you will be doing is you will be just going ahead and be given a blank prospectus template, and you just fill it in and answer those questions. All right, second part, components 6 to 10. Research questions. Are those qualitative questions? Are those quantitative questions? What are going to be the questions you're going to ask? Maybe you're doing mixed methods, so you want to think about what research questions you're going to ask during that component. The significance of the study. The significance is the value of the benefit. Who's going to benefit from you doing this? Once you get your data and complete your study, who's going to benefit? Is it just like you're going to have more knowledge, or will other people benefit? Will specific industries, will academia benefit, etc.? You have to write that down. Again, you'll see the word limits on the left-hand side. Methodology and design. Decide whether you're going to employ a qualitative approach or quantitative or mixed methods, and then specifically what design. Remember, methodology is different from design. The design, if you're going to use surveys, you're going to use case study, phenomenology perhaps, whatever that design is within your methodology. You're going to write about that. Population and sample. Who are the people, or what's the data that you're going to get? What's the sample size? What's this going to be about? And finally, how are you going to collect your data? Those are components 6 to 10. And finally, components 11 to 15. How are you going to analyze your data? What about trustworthiness? What about your limitations and delimitations? And finally, a summary statement. So again, the Prospectus tool is a start. A Prospectus tool will give you a good outline of your dissertation because if successful, you will have pretty much all your components listed on there. Now let me go back to alignment and what that means. When we talk about specific alignment, what your chair will be looking for is how the ideas between each component link together. For example, let's say in component 4, your problem statement is roughly, I'm just throwing this as an example, that 6th graders in the whatever school district are not performing according to their standardized test scores. Okay, common problem in education, that underperformance of 6th graders on a standardized assessment. All right, and if you then say the purpose of this study is to investigate how parents respond to testing, you see that those two concepts don't relate to each other. Therefore, those two concepts do not align. Your problem statement does not align with your purpose statement. That is the essence of alignment, ensuring that each of these components, especially components 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., all align. That each idea that's presented within the components can logically link to the next component. How that's done, how you express it, what you write, etc. We'll be going over all that in the residency, but I really want to hone this point of alignment down till you get that. Proper alignment is critical because a problem statement must be what's known as grounded in the literature and identify a problem in the real world. Not knowing something about a solution isn't a real world problem. So it's got to be articulated a little bit more nuanced, that what really is the problem? What's the research problem at hand? What's the problem statement and how do you express that? The research questions must correspond to, or again, align with, the data needed to solve or begin to solve the problem. Again, going back to that example of 6th graders not meeting the standardized test scores, for example, or not enough 6th graders meeting standardized test scores. If the data in that problem is about examining parent feelings or parent perceptions, those perceptions have nothing to do with test scores, and so therefore those questions do not align. The methodology and design must be appropriate. So similarly, again, using that example of the test scores, if the test scores are the problem, or the not meeting the test scores specifically is the problem, if the methodology is to look at a case study of principals who went on vacation, well, first of all, that has nothing to do with the problem, but investigating a different phenomena that doesn't relate to the problem at hand, that's misalignment. Finally, the data collection and analysis must provide the information needed to answer. It goes to so forth to say that, again, if you're asking that question, you don't ask another question that's unrelated to that idea that was presented. That's all alignment is about, linking ideas together, and how you do that is through the words that you use and how you express it. And the Prospectus tool, again, going through each component, what you write down, your chair is going to look at that and look for those keywords, look at those key ideas that you present when you do your research study. Final tips here. Review the Prospectus tool on the dissertation student shell. It's also on your dissertation handbook, so refer to it often. Tip number 2, see tip number 1, and keep revising your prospectus until you get it right. That's what you do in the first 10 weeks. You're going to be working on this prospectus. You have your ideas. You're going to go back and forth with your chair to make sure that everything is aligned and that the basic framework or skeleton of your dissertation is correct, so you can go on to RESR 694B. All right. In summary, the Prospectus tool is the key. It's the key to having a good dissertation, so be thorough as you go through each of the 15 sections of the Prospectus tool. You have to just carefully read and find out what it's asking, and you write that down. Finally, I end with the word alignment. It is the most important thing at this stage. All right, I hope this video has been helpful. I look forward to seeing you on your journey. Thank you.